Now, did you actually try to get any of those a pristine label from Beckett?
Yeah, so I had a whole thing worked out, and the funny thing is that the person who made the introduction was actually cardborn. Um, so at the National, I never met cardborn. I
Hmm.
spoke to him on the phone one time, and I made a video sort of on Instagram, me joking about, I'm going to take them all to the National and see if I can get a BGS, 10, which would be my dream card, which there are a bunch of them, and one of them has never come out for auction in the last 10, 15 years. They're just gone. And I know one guy who sold one, and he believes at the time when he sold it to the guy over 10 years ago that the guy had three others.
Mm.
So, not joking, they could literally, they could be sitting in a storage facility or in somebody's safety deposit box, and the guy passed away, and nobody knows they're there. The fact that those cards have not come out is really crazy.
Yeah,
And I'm
$1 million card.
sure if we looked at those cards, I'm sure I could pick out PSA 10s that are much nicer than them. So it's not like, oh, those are nicer than the ones now. Like,
Right. Yeah.
so I had 31 at the time of the National. I'm like, oh, okay. This would be good for Beckett. They hadn't had great PR. Their submissions had been down. People were kicking them around a little bit. I'm like, this will be good for Beckett. It'll be good for me. It'll
Hmm.
be good for the industry if they gave us a BGS 10. And I made a video just sort of like joking about it. And then Cardporn reached out to me saying, I'll make the introduction for you. I'll put the whole thing together and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm at the National and he's like, okay, I'm sending him over to your booth now. I'm like, okay, fine. And we communicated back and forth. And then they basically decided not to give me a 10. And then, I texted Cardporn and he's like, I'm sorry, you know.
Oh. We had an ex-Beckett grader on here too, kind of anonymously telling us how the Pristine works. And he mentioned it was typically one Pristine label per employee per year, except for the Leaf fiasco. But it's just kind of interesting how it all works because I'm sure, like you say, one of those is probably better than something that's already been slabbed pristine.
Yeah, I mean they have pictures and scans of them. I would love for them to release all the scans and pictures of them so we could actually
Yeah.
blow them up and people could be like, "Oh, look at that BGS 10 with, you know, 55-45 centering, not 50-50 centering."
Hmm.
Like it wouldn't
Right.
surprise me in one second.
Yeah. I mean, I figured that's probably $1 million card, right?